Hey, what's up everyone? Adam here bringing you another video on my channel, The Free MD. Today I have a really fun video planned, and if you've been paying attention to my two sort of small teaser videos so far, the trip to Santa Barbara and my trip to Vail, Colorado, then you might have seen in the descriptions that I have a pretty cool trip planned for this summer. So this summer I have about 73 days off of medical school, and I'm taking full advantage of that, taking a full 70-day trip with my girlfriend Dakota around the world. In the future videos for each of the places that we visit, I'll break down how exactly we got there, how many points we used, how much it cost us in US dollars and whatnot. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you what our itinerary is. Let me go ahead and dive right into it. Our first location is Paris, France. In Paris, we will be staying for 6 days in a flat that a very close family friend happens to own. But you'll probably end up noticing throughout this video that a lot of the places we're staying are with people we know. And that's really gonna help cut down on the cost of this trip. That trip to Paris, of course, we're flying out of Cleveland International Airport, flying into Charles de Gaulle in Paris, and we're gonna be there for 6 days. From Paris, then we're going down to Lyon. And so we're actually staying with the same close family friend, except this time, instead of a flat in Paris, we're staying in their family home. Then after Lyon, we are going to go ahead and fly from the airport in Lyon to Palma de Mallorca. And in Mallorca, again, staying with a friend, this time my friend Nico from undergraduate at Hillsdale. Nico has graciously offered to host us for 4 days in Mallorca, and we're gonna do what we can to see the entire island while we're there. Then from Palma de Mallorca, we are going to go ahead and take a quick flight just across the sea to Barcelona. And in Barcelona, we're also going to stay there for 4 days, see what we can of the city, definitely stop by the Camp Nou. From Barcelona, again, we have a flight up to Zurich. And so in Zurich, we're actually being met, Dakota and I are being met by my parents. And we're gonna take a fun 9 or 10 day road trip all around Switzerland. So for those of you who may not know or may not be aware, Switzerland's actually pretty small. In terms of square mileage, it's actually 1/3 the size of Ohio. That gives a little bit of context. A 10-day trip is actually going to give us a lot of time to see almost the entirety of the country. A few quick highlights of this road trip. We're gonna start in Zurich. We're gonna go down to Rapperswil, probably pronouncing this wrong. We're gonna do a sweet hike on the Druisbergute, go down through a couple mountain passes. We're gonna end up in Interlaken, spend a couple nights up in the mountains in a town called Grindelwald. Super excited for that, it's gonna be awesome. And then from there, we're gonna go down, drive to Zermatt, do a little bit of a hike around the Matterhorn, which is also gonna be incredible, I can't wait for that. So then from Zermatt, we're gonna go ahead and drive back up, sort of track a little bit west, and we're gonna go to the area of Gstaad. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. So there, we're gonna do a few cool things. There are a few attractions there that I'm excited for. And then on our return journey, we're gonna go through the region of Gruyere. There's some pretty cool castles around there. From Gruyere, we're gonna go up to Bern. And then from Bern, we're gonna return to Zurich, where we're going to part ways with my parents again. From Zurich, we fly into Venice. And for Italy, we are fortunately being joined by Dakota's sister, Montana. So we're gonna do our first 3 days in Venice, flying in from Zurich. From Venice, we're gonna take a short train to the Tuscany region and hang out in Florence for another 3 days. And then from Florence, we take another train down to Rome, where we're planning to spend 6 days. And then from Rome, our last stretch of the Italy trip is gonna be 5 days on the Amalfi coast, particularly in the town or the city of Sorrento. And we also have a 1-day trip planned to go to the island of Capri and back. From Sorrento, we're gonna have to take a train back up to Naples, and we actually fly out of Naples all the way to Tel Aviv, Israel, where again, we are visiting our good friend Shavit and associated friends that he has in the area. So the original plan is 9 days in Israel, so probably gonna see hopefully as much of the country as we can. We're gonna start in Tel Aviv, see the sights there, probably go down to Jerusalem and whatnot, and try to get as much of the experience as we can. Then after those 9 days, we have a flight from Tel Aviv all the way to Tokyo. Finally, we're at the Japan phase of the trip. And so in Japan, Dakota and I are being met by my brother Ben and his fiance Taylor. So in Japan, we have a 12-day itinerary planned, and the general idea so far is actually to start in Tokyo, do maybe 4 days there, take a train over to Hakone, see Mount Fuji, and then continue on the train over to the Kyoto, Osaka region of Japan, another 4 days or so there, take the train back to Tokyo and finish the trip around Tokyo again. So Japan is actually sort of the loosest planned right now because if any of you had been keeping tabs on it, it actually just opened to tourism, with some caveats and technicalities. And so that is actually the least structured of our plans so far. Even though Japan is one of the least structured parts of the trip so far, it's also one of the parts that I'm most excited for. I've wanted to visit there my entire life, and I think being able to experience the whole country, or just about the whole country, with Dakota, my brother, and Taylor, it's gonna be pretty incredible. Then from Tokyo, we have a flight all the way to Cancun. Also in Cancun, Dakota and I are going to be visited by, again, Ben and Taylor. And this is actually gonna be somewhat of my wedding gift to my brother and his fiance. In Cancun, we are staying in the Hyatt Zilara, which is an adult-only, all-inclusive resort. So we're ending the trip at the Hyatt Zilara Cancun for 5 days. Me, Ben, Taylor, and Dakota. And I'm super excited for that. Really just kind of planned Cancun actually to be the end of the trip because we're sort of gonna be going for a while. And I think it's gonna be nice to be able to hang out at an all-inclusive resort for the last few days, do a little bit of detox, relaxing on the beach and whatnot. And so that was sort of the rationale for ending there. After the end of our 5 days in Cancun, of course, we're separating ways. Dakota and I are going to fly back to Cleveland. Ben and Taylor are gonna fly back to Dallas. And that will be the end of our 70-day trip around the world. So like I said at the beginning, I'm using almost the full entirety of my summer. And so I'm actually coming back into Cleveland the day before classes start back up again. So it's a pretty tight schedule. But regardless of how tight it is, I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, look out for future videos where I'm gonna dive into how exactly I booked all this, being a broke med student and using as little money as possible. Pretty much the entirety of this trip has been paid for with credit card points. Look out for those details in future videos. Thank you all for tuning in to this video. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight and excitement for my trip this summer. And if you are excited or interested in how we're doing it, go ahead and tune into those future videos where I'll walk through all of the details and give you all the sights and the sounds of the locations that we're visiting. So thanks again. See you in the future.